But what I learned from early on, that it doesn't matter where you start or what it is that kind of gets you in that pathway. There's a lot of parallels. You know, like the world of running doesn't necessarily, like when I was in 8th grade or 6th grade, never thought I'd have this little blazer on with buttons that say Chiefy County or that I'd be in local politics. I would have laughed. But you don't know where it will take you. But if you have that passion for giving back and community involvement, man, there are pathways that will take you so far. And so throughout the process and between Trail Sisters and Search and Rescue, the advisory, the town trustee, and a commissioner, there are 5 different things that I've learned along the way that I'll share with you very quickly, and then I'll shut up and get out of the way. But they've helped me in every facet of my life. And I'll start with the first. Regardless of whatever public service or professional world you take here, listening, always listen. Listening is one of the best things, the best value, the best trait, the best anything you can do. People here, have you heard like the quietest person in the room is generally the smartest person? Right? Yeah, we've heard that. I see some heads nodding. Anyway, they say that because the person that's quietest is listening and observing. They're taking that in, they're thinking, they're planning, and they make something of that. But when you listen to people, even if you don't agree, you're going to learn something different about their perspective and where they're coming from. And there's a lot of value to that. And at the same time, just listening to people, they want to be heard, right? We always have something to say. And having the opportunity to just have somebody share with you what is important to them makes them feel valued. So listening, very, very important. Another thing, strength, right? It's good to be strong. You have to be strong in your convictions and when times are tough. But the bigger part of strength is being able to resist and hold back. You have to be strong enough to not make a knee-jerk reaction. Hold back and think before taking the next step. So strength, but maybe not in the way that you would think. Because people just envision force. But think about the opposite. Third, empathy. I actually think empathy is one of the most important things you can learn and what you can take forward with you and apply in anything that you do. We all come from different backgrounds, different experiences. And that's just how the world works, right? That's just how it is. But there are things we can share and we can relate to, our struggles, fears, happiness, all sadness. And when people are going through something, sure, you might feel differently or you might understand something differently. But what you can relate to is the feeling they have. And sharing that relationship in terms of understanding and being empathetic, it humanizes you and it will open the door for those conversations and those relationships. So being empathetic is very important in my book. Anyway, then hard work. I know it sounds kind of, yeah, we know hard work's important. But hard work will take you further, much further than when the intelligence runs out. Some people get things super quick. To be honest, I was never one of them. I had to sit there for hours and read line from line, and any whatever hardbound book we had in school. I feel like now everything's on the computer, but if you're willing to put in the time and the energy and that hard work, you'll go forever. You can absorb things. A lot of people pick up things quick, and they think, hey, I'm good, I got it, I can move on to the next thing. But please, never forget, and never be afraid of taking the extra mile to put in the hustle and the hard work. Does anybody know who Cam Haynes is, professional bow hunter? Has anybody heard of him? Oh man, gosh, all my analogies. Okay.
My son's a bow hunter.
Okay, all right, fair. He has a slogan that says, nobody cares, work harder. It doesn't matter. Really what matters is what you're able to do and how far you can go. So always keep pounding the drum. When you think you got it, if you got a little more, go a little further. And lastly, passion. Passion will open up the pathways for anything you want in life. It's the strongest motivator of all time. If there's something you believe in, something you enjoy, something you love, something you like, it doesn't matter. Follow that passion and it will take you to the direction where you want to go. My passion for running in the outdoors, I didn't think I'd be where I am with that, and having this large women's organization, it was a passion project, and it turned into a full-time job for my husband and I. And we have over 150 running clubs around the country, which is pretty incredible when you think about, hey, all I want to do is grow women's opportunity in trail running. Went from enjoying the trails here and just wanting to help out in that aspect to being a county commissioner. Again, I didn't see that one coming. My dad was a teacher, my mom was a nurse. There's no political bone in my body, but I've learned quite a bit, and I've realized that having the opportunity to be in a position like this allows me to give back in so many different ways. But it was the passion that drew me there to take care of my community and want to support them in every way I possibly can. So those are the 5 things I was thinking about that I'd want to leave you with. Hopefully one of those will stick with you. And I guess the last thing, I'll share my mantra with you that I use every day when I'm at the dais down in Salida, and also what I share with my Trail Sisters community. My mantra is take a bet on yourself. You've got a lot of champions in the room today, all standing behind you that love you and support you. But what's most important is you've got to be a champion for yourself. So always take a bet on yourself. You're number one, you can do it, and you got to believe it. You got all of us believing in each and every one of you. But remember to take a bet on yourself, because you got this. So anyhow, that's what I got for y'all. You're going to crush it today. Have fun.
Thank you, Gina Lucchesi, Deputy County Commissioner. Thank you so much. I want to bring up right now last year's Civics Bee runner-up, Jordan DeWalt. Jordan, here you come, Jordan. I think we might have some words of wisdom here from Jordan. There you go.
As you may have heard, I'm Jordan, and I'm now a freshman in high school. But I want to say that last year when I started the Civics Bee, I was really uncertain whether it would actually make a difference, whether what I said would actually, people would actually listen, people would actually hear what I wanted to change. And I just want to tell you that all these people here are listening to what you have to say. They've read your essay. They know what you want to change. They know your ideas, and you can make a difference. And as I continued through the Civics Bee, I began to learn not only that I can make a difference, but I actually enjoyed it. It broadened my horizons. I took a step out of my comfort zone, and now my comfort zone is expanded. So I'm challenging you to take the step. Try something new. Give it your best. Because you never know what's going to happen. You never know if you're going to like it or not. And if you don't like it, then you know you don't like it. And you know you can try something else. So I just challenge you to have fun. And remember that you can make a difference and they're listening to you. So good luck.
Good. Very good. Thank you, Jordan. I was going back there. I've been standing in the back of the room thinking about the words of Commissioner Lucchesi. The quiet ones in the room are the smartest ones in the room. Gee. I'm way down there. I know exactly where I am. Right now, let's introduce the judges, then we will get started with round one of our competition. Our judges, Buena Vista trustee Andrew Rice, Buena Vista Mayor Libby Fay, attorney and former county attorney, is that right? Daniel Tom. Ark Valley Voice reporter Carly Winchell. And the numbers guy, is that right? Financial, yes. Right? You and I have nothing to talk about.
You're getting paid this
Todd Tipton. Thank you so much, guys, for being our judges. All right, I hope you're ready. We are getting ready for round one. Before we get started, I've been asked to remind finalists that your personal devices, cell phones, smartwatches, so forth, as well as your 4x6 note cards, are not allowed on stage. If you haven't already handed yours over, raise your hand now and we'll collect it. Got one right here. There you go, got a couple. Anyone else down there? All cell phones, smartwatches? Fantastic. Today's competition will include 3 rounds. In the first 2 rounds, finalists will answer civics-based quiz questions. Each finalist will answer the same multiple-choice questions within the allotted time. Each question and answer option will be read aloud. The 30-second timer will not start until after I finish reading the question and answer options. Each correct answer will receive 1 point. Incorrect answers and answers not submitted before time runs out receive 0 points. Since you will not lose points for an incorrect response, we encourage you to take your best guess. They're at the last second, all right, and answer each question. Please note, once you have selected an answer to the question, that answer is final. You may not return to the question options to change your response. At the end of rounds 1 and 2, we'll display the leaderboard on the screen, and you'll be able to see which finalists are in the lead. If there is a tie for 5th place at the end of round 2, I will announce a tiebreaker round of 3 questions. Only the finalists who are tied for 5th place will answer these questions. If you are not tied for 5th place, you will not answer the tiebreaker questions. At the end of the tiebreaker, I will announce the finalist who will advance to round 3. Finalists, during the quiz rounds, you will have if you have technical issues or anything else goes wrong at any time, please raise your hand right away so we can help you. Let me make sure you can raise your hand. Everyone raise your hand. Now, we did that well. Fantastic. We know everyone here will participate with integrity. Finalists, please please keep your eyes on your own tablets. All right. During rounds 1 and 2, audience members, you can play along with the student finalists and increase your civic knowledge. Audience members, please enter the URL included in the upper left-hand corner of the screen. There you go, the upper left-hand corner of the screen. Enter your personal device. Be sure to select spectator in the joint settings. All right. You want to join, click spectator, and then you'll be able to play along. For 1, what did the Naturalization Act of 1790 primarily define regarding U.S. citizenship? It allowed all immigrants to become citizens. It restricted naturalization to free white persons. It granted citizenship to enslaved people. It established a path for Native Americans. Enter your answer now. Seconds. 5. And the answer is B. It restricted naturalization to free white persons. Question number 2. What type of government exists where a monarch's powers are limited by a constitution and elected officials also govern? Constitutional monarchy, authoritarianism, oligarchy, communism. Your 30 seconds start now. Time is up. The correct answer is A, constitutional monarchy. Question number 3. In a federal system, a nation law sets basic clean water rules. Each state then writes a plan to meet the rules and can choose tougher limits. Which description best fits this arrangement? The national government sets and enforces all details. States choose all rules without national standards. The nation sets a baseline and states design and run their plans. The nation and states work in different areas with no overlap. 30 seconds. 10 seconds. In 5. Your time is up. The correct answer is C. The nation sets a baseline and states design and run their plans. All right, question number 4. Based on Article 1 of the Articles of Confederation, what term is used to describe the union formed by the 13 states? Is it a consolidated nation, a federal republic, a confederacy, a unitary state? 30 seconds. In 10, 5, and time is up. The correct answer is C, a confederacy. C, a confederacy. Question number 5. What 2 states were involved in the case of Gibbons versus Ogden, 1824? Maryland and Virginia, New York and New Jersey, Missouri and Kansas, Texas and Arkansas. 30 seconds. Twenty. 10. 5. And time is up. The correct answer is B, New York and New Jersey. Question number 6. Which 1774 Act of the British Parliament required American colonists to provide living accommodations for British soldiers following the Boston Tea Party? A, Massachusetts Government Act, B, Administration of Justice Act, C, Quartering Act, D, Boston Port Act. 30 seconds. In 10, 5, and your time is up. The correct answer is C, Quartering Act. Question number 7. How is the rule of law protected under the United States Constitution? A, government officials are above the law. B, laws apply differently to different groups of people. C, everyone, including government leaders, must obey the law. And D, laws can be changed arbitrarily by those in power. 30 seconds. Twenty. 10. In 5. And your time is up. How is the rule of law protected under the United States Constitution? C, everyone, including government leaders, must obey the law. Question number 8. Canada acceding to this confederation shall be admitted into and entitled to all the advantages of this union. Where in the Articles of Confederation can this quote be found? A, Article 11, B, Article 13, C, Article 4, or D, Article 8. 20. In 10. Authority in one person. How does he address this concern? A, he says other constitutional checks limit the president while preserving energy. B, he proposes rotating the presidency among regional leaders each year. C, he suggests sharing executive authority equally among 3 officials. Or D, he recommends letting Congress approve every executive decision. 30 seconds. $20. $10. In 5. And your time is up. The correct answer is A. He says other constitutional checks limit the president while preserving energy. And question number 10, last question of round 1. In response to the disputed 1876 presidential election, Congress passed the Electoral Commission Act of 1877. Which body did this act establish to determine the winner of the electoral votes? A joint committee of governors from the disputed states. B, an electoral commission of lawmakers and Supreme Court justices. C, a special federal court with the power to conduct a new election. D, a national referendum to decide the winner by popular vote. 30 seconds. $20. In 10. 5, 4, 3, and time is up. The correct answer is B, an electoral commission of lawmakers and Supreme Court justices. All right, that does it for round 1. We will see our round 1 leaders. Quick poll. All right, here we go, our leaderboard. Let me get over there. What do we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. With 6. 7 of you have 6. All right, that is Kayla, Ella, Elsie, Emerson, Ashley, Sarah, and Campbell. All have 6. Adriel has 5. That's all I can see. Very good. Very good. Moving on to round 2. Moving on to round 2. Again, this will consist of 10 multiple choice questions. Oh. You bet. Round 2. Here we go. 10 multiple choice questions coming your way. The passage of the Morrill Land Grant Act of 1862 had which impact on higher education in the United States? The passage of the Morrill Land Grant Act. It provided federal land to states to fund colleges for agriculture and engineering. B, it prohibited the teaching of religious subjects in all state-funded universities. C, it mandated that all colleges provide free tuition to children of homesteaders. D, it required every state to build at least one medical school for every county. 30 seconds. $20. $10.
Are you glad you're not taking
Very glad.
In 5. And your time is up. The passage of the Morrill Land Grant Act of 1862, the answer is A. It provided federal land to states to fund colleges for agriculture and engineering. A was the correct answer. Next question. Which president issued an executive order in 1957 to provide assistance to the to provide assistance for the removal of an obstruction of justice within the state of Arkansas? Was it A, Franklin Roosevelt, B, Harry S. Truman, C, Dwight D. Eisenhower, or D, John F. Kennedy? 30 seconds. In 20. In 10. 5 seconds. Time is up. The correct answer, what president provided that executive order in 1957? C, Dwight David Eisenhower. C, Dwight David Eisenhower. Next question. A new trash pickup schedule would better serve the needs of Washington, D.C. residents. Whom should residents contact to make this change? A, the President of the United States. B, the Mayor of the District of Columbia. C, the U.S. Supreme Court. Or D, the U.S. Senate. 30 seconds. $20 seconds. $10 seconds. In 5. Time is up. The correct answer is the Mayor of the District of Columbia. There we go. All right. Which founding principle is most evident in the passage of the 19th Amendment? A, limited government by reducing restrictions on individual rights. B, separation of powers by involving all 3 branches in its ratification. C, federalism by requiring state legislators to enforce voting laws. D, consent of the governed by expanding the electorate to include women. 19th Amendment, 30 seconds. $20 seconds remain. In 10. 5, 4, and time is up. The correct answer is consent of the governed by expanding the electorate to include women. D was the correct answer. Here we go with number 5 in round 2. Which Supreme Court case represents an exercise of judicial review to declare a federal law unconstitutional, thereby limiting the legislative power of Congress? A, Lochner versus New York. B, Standard Oil Company of New Jersey versus the United States. C, ALA Schechter Poultry Company Corporation versus the United States. Or D, United States versus Nixon. $20 seconds remain. in 10, and 5. Time is up. Which Supreme Court case? C. ALA Schechter Poultry Corporation versus the United States. Daniel, do you want to tell us how that came out? Poorly. You can do that. Number 6. In 1957, Elizabeth Eckford and the Little Rock Nine tried to attend an all-white high school in Arkansas. The state governor used the National Guard to block them. President Eisenhower then sent federal troops to protect the students and enforce desegregation. How did this conflict show the tension between federal power and states' rights? A. It showed the federal government using its power to enforce desegregation against state opposition. B. It showed that state governors had ultimate power over federal court orders and desegregation. C. It directly led to the immediate and peaceful desegregation of all Southern public schools. Or D. It resulted in constitutional amendment that outlawed all racial discrimination in education. 30 seconds. Twenty seconds. In 10, and 5. Time is up. The answer is A. It showed the federal government using its power to enforce desegregation against state opposition. Next question. During the debates over whether the new Constitution needed a Bill of Rights, which leader ultimately took the lead in drafting the amendments to address anti-federalist concerns? Was it A. James Monroe, B. Governor Morris, C. Thomas Jefferson, D. James Madison? 30 seconds. Seconds remain. 5. And time is up. The correct answer is D. James Madison. D. James Madison. I could hear the comments up here. Number 8. What was the main goal of the No Child Left Behind Act? A. To close the achievement gap between students from different backgrounds. B. To increase funding per student for all schools. C. To make college more affordable and accessible. Or D. To create a national curriculum for all schools so that students learn the same material. 30 seconds. Twenty. 10 seconds remain. In 5. And time is up. The correct answer, No Child Left Behind, to close the achievement gap between students from different backgrounds. A was the correct answer. Next question. A school district receives federal funding for its educational programs. To comply with Title IX of the Education Amendments of 1972, how must the district manage its athletic department? A, by requiring all student athletes to pass annual standardized exams. B, by implementing busing programs to ensure racial diversity on teams. C, by providing equivalent facilities and participation opportunities for female students. D, by mandating that all sports teams follow a specific national curriculum. 30 seconds. 20 seconds remain. In 10, and 5, 4. Time is up. The correct answer is C, by providing equivalent facilities and participation opportunities for female students. Title IX. Our last question in round 2. The enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people. Where can this quote be found in the U.S. Constitution? Ninth Amendment, A. B, Article 1. C, First Amendment. D, 10th Amendment. 30 seconds. In 20. Ten seconds remain. In 5, 4. Time is up. The correct answer is A, Ninth Amendment. Sure, again, my wife and I just the other night. That is the end of round 2. Now, the end of round 2. We're going to see the scores, and we had like a 5-way tie for first, something like that. If we have ties, then I really have to dig into the tie-breaking questions that I just sort of glanced at before. So let's hope we don't have a tie, right? Let's see what we have. All right, we do have a little bit of a question. Which of these would you most likely do to improve your school or community? Rhetorical question. Join or start a club that works on a cause that I care about. Write a letter to a leader. Volunteer or help organize a local event. Create a petition or social media campaign about an issue. Which of these would you most likely do to improve your school or community? How about you? Which one would you do you think? Huh? What's that? Red? Oh, there you go. Join or start a club. There you go. Get involved in a club. I like that. All right, folks. That's just a little bit of a poll question we got for you there. The leaderboard. Where are we? Let's get up there. Let me see this. What do I need to do now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. The way I read that, we have a 4-way tie for 5th. Am I correct? What's that? Well, we're going top 5. We want 5. See what I mean? We're going to the top 5. So we got first, 12 points for Elsie, 11 points for Emerson, 11 points for Annabelle. Those participating in the tiebreaker round of 3 questions will be Kayla, Liam, Hank, Adriel, and Adriel. There you go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Adriel, Hank, Liam, and that other one. Kayla.
Liam, everybody else just sit tight. Kayla, Liam, Hank, and Adriel. We're going to have fun. Right?
Just those 4 will participate in the tiebreaker questions. Again, we have 3 questions, you 4, and this is for 5th place. All right? Here we go. The question is, why do judges on the District Court for the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands serve fixed terms instead of lifetime appointments? All right. A, the local constitution requires all judges to be elected by citizens. B, the court is established under Article 4, territorial powers, rather than Article 3. C, federal budget limits prevent the government from paying lifetime salaries. Or D, a presidential executive order limited the length of judicial service in territories. A, B, C, or D, 30 seconds. And again, these three questions are just for the four that are tied. 20 seconds. Ten seconds remain. In 5. Time is up. The Northern Mariana Islands, of course. B, the court is established under Article 4 territorial powers rather than Article 3. B is the correct answer to that one. Question number 2 of 3 in our tiebreaker. The Supreme Court has ruled that campaign spending is a form of protected speech, but Congress still seeks to limit corruption. Which approach to campaign finance balances these competing constitutional concerns according to current legal precedent most effectively? A, complete public financing with a ban on all private donations to candidates. B, strict donation limits combined with public matching funds for small donors. C, unlimited donations with the immediate public disclosure requirements only. And D, no campaign finance regulations allowing the marketplace of ideas to operate. 30 seconds.
Question.
Yes, Liam?
Isn't it not on the 30-second thing? Oh, because mine isn't.
It's not working.
Oh? Yeah, it froze.
So answer as soon as you can. Let's go in 10 seconds. Hey, you got a full 30 seconds right now, so think it over, look it over, okay? All right, coming up on 10 seconds. 10 seconds remain. In 5. There you go, time is up. The correct answer is B, strict donation limits combined with public matching funds for small donors. All right, here is the third and final tie-breaking question. We'll see if that does the trick. In the spirit of the laws, Charles de Montesquieu. Charles de Montesquieu argued that the best way to protect, I said, we'll never have a tie. I don't need to know how to pronounce those. What was the best way that Charles de Montesquieu argued was the way to protect liberty? He said it was to separate the powers of government. Which example best applies to this idea to the United States government? A, the president writes laws, judges criminals, and leads the military alone. B, state governments have authority to ignore laws from the national government. C, Congress makes laws, the president enforces them, and courts interpret them. D, citizens vote directly on every law instead of electing representatives. 30 seconds. In 10, time is up. The correct answer is C. Congress makes laws, the president enforces them, and courts interpret them. Now, let's see where we are. After 2 rounds and our tiebreaker, 1, 2, 3. How many fingers am I holding? All right, we still have the very same tie, don't we? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we have Kayla, we have Liam, we have Hank, we have Adrian. All still tied.
No, just the 11th.
Huh?
So this was just ours. So Caleb and Liam were going on. We look at how fast you go.
Oh, there's a little wrinkle. We're going with speed in answering the questions. That makes sense. So, 45 seconds, 2 tiebreaker. And I'm sorry, what? Are you talking Liam and Hank?
Kayla and Liam.
Kayla and Liam. Kayla and Liam are moving on. Kayla and Liam, okay, are moving on. You have Kayla, Liam, Annabelle, Emerson, and Elsie. Everyone see that? What we did there with the tiebreaker, went with the time, answering quicker. Got the course up there. All right, all right. There we go. All right. Before we begin round 3, the remaining finalists will be okay. These 5, have they received their note cards?
Not yet. We're going to take a break.
Oh. Okay.
And the 5 can
Tell us their name and the topic of their essay. All right? When you're ready.
My name is Maddie Adams, and I wrote about the short-term rental ban in Brooklyn Park, Colorado.
All right. Just pass your microphone next. Thank you.
My name is Saran Talbert, and I wrote about the wolves in Colorado.
My name is Hank Connolly, and I wrote about why we need a rec center. My name is Adriel Cortez, and I wrote about bike trails.
My name is Raina Phelps, and I wrote about female football players.
My name is Ella Nelson, and I wrote about how we would benefit from a rest or welcome area.
My name is Lizzie, and I wrote about the students' mental health.
My name is Ashley, and I wrote about ADHD in students. My name is Campbell Jane, and I wrote about a soup kitchen. My name is Ellie, and I wrote about unaffordable housing.
My name is Grace McCray, and I wrote about a youth rec center.
My name is Maxie Thornberry, and I wrote about food insecurities in Hillary.
My name is Colin Phillips, and I wrote about the local rock climbing gym.
Very good. Our 13 finalists right here. Great job, guys. Great job. Thank you for participating. And again, all the kids, all the finalists get to keep the iPad they have in front. Not bad for writing a little essay, huh? Callan, that's pretty good, right? All right, now we're on to our top 5. Here's how it works. The top 5 finalists have been given back their note cards. They are allowed to use their note cards as prep. I will ask the finalists and the judges if everyone is ready. And then I will call the finalists one at a time to approach the microphone and deliver their summary. Guys, you'll come right up here and address the judges, okay? I will call you in order. There you go. Each finalist will share a 3-sentence summary of their essay using your 4x6 note card that you bring up as prep. Each finalist will then receive questions from our judges and will have 3 minutes to engage in Q&A. Answer the judges' questions clearly and effectively. Use specific examples, evidence, and primary sources to support your answers. At the end of round 3, judges will add their scores to the finalist totals from rounds 1 and 2 to calculate a cumulative score for each finalist. If a tiebreaker, oh God, please no. If a tiebreaker is needed at the end of round 3, judges will rank the tied finalist in order, and majority rules. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Majority rules of the 5 judges. The finalists with the 3 highest cumulative scores will be named first, second, and third place winners. All finalists today, as I said, receive their iPad. First, second, and third place winners will also receive cash prizes and backpacks from the Trailhead. I see a nice Trailhead water bottle in front of each and every one of you. All right, we ready to go? Right, for round 3. Let's begin with Annabelle Courtright. Annabelle?
Hello. I wrote about an ice rink for Buena Vista. I think it would be a great opportunity to connect the community, add youth activities, and increase tourism in the winter. The people of our town would need a chance to vote for how we would fund this idea, because we should not start a project this big without the consent of the government. And if citizens approve of this idea, they could take responsibility for the success of the project through efforts like fundraising and maintenance to reduce public costs.
Very good. Judges?
Okay, I have a couple of questions for you, Annabelle. In your second paragraph, you list the cost of what the ice rink might entail, and you have $15,000 to $500,000, which is a huge gap that I need to be able to get a grip on in terms of looking at trade-offs. If I'm going to build an ice rink, what do I have to give up to do that? So I was wondering how you would go about narrowing that down.
Well, in 2019, the Chaffee County Amateur Hockey Association made a proposal for an ice rink, and they had like a $250,000 budget in mind, and I think ours could probably be lower than that. So maybe somewhere between like 100,000 and 200,000.
So you cut it down to that level anyway. Okay. So that would help me. And you did point out your founding principles and civic value. Thank you for that. Does any other judges have questions?
Yeah, I was just curious how you went about researching that initial range of numbers for the cost. I was also curious about that.
In school, I just kind of looked it up on my computer, like after research about what type of ice would be the best, or like what would be realistic for our town. So like somewhere between, not like a big indoor ice rink, but like not like just synthetic ice. So I was like, okay, if we want to do like a real ice rink, then how much would like that cost on like a smaller scale? Because I learned a lot. I don't really know much about building ice rinks, but
You know more than you used to.
Very good. All right. Thank you so much, Annabelle Courtright. Next up, Emerson Fridge.
I'm Emerson Fritsch, and I wrote about deer populations in Chaffee County. Deer populations, if you haven't noticed, there are a ton of deer around here. You probably saw one when you were driving around. And those deer have a lot of positive effects on us, such as hunting tax. Hunting directly affects our economy. And when there are more deer, we can pass out more hunting tags, more money. Life is great. And when there's too many deer in town, that causes a lot of driver safety things. People hit deer a lot here, more than any other county around us, which is crazy. So I thought, hey, maybe We need to put out like brochures and really educate people about how to be safe around deer and how they're actually affecting our community instead of just wandering around the sidewalks.
Very good. Judges?
Emerson, you talked about the 250 mule deer in town, and you said managing that. Well, what would be a desired population you're looking at?
Other towns around us have like 150, 100, and that's a little less than we would really want, so 175, 200 is about the sweet spot.
Okay. And you talked about your civics, the safety. You're talking about everyone in town, deer. What are you referring to?
Probably a little bit of both. Really, people and driver safety, especially because there's so many deer out on our roads. People driving in the dark. There are so many accidents here, so driver safety is probably the primarily thing.
Thank you.
Any other questions, judges?
I know Andrew has.
Oh, I was going to say, what tools do you think you have to use to manage the population?
I wouldn't necessarily have one, but hunting tags to help. If we overall lower deer populations, then there will be less in town. So handing out more hunting tags is probably the biggest way to influence that.
Very good. No other questions? Emerson Fridge. Thank you so much. Next up, Leon Puckett.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here and thank you for having me. So my essay addresses fair and equitable competition between brick and mortar businesses and temporary vendors, specifically here in the town of Buena Vista. After examining the existing code, researching other mountain towns, and interviewing subject matter experts, I proposed making specific zoning where vendors can operate, making the rules clear, and just having the community work together to find a good solution. People are, departments that can help are the planning department, the chamber, and current business owners that can mentor new business owners. And by ensuring that both sides have equal opportunity to share, we uphold the principle of equality while also upholding the civic virtue of humility.
Very good. Judges?
Thank you, Liam. One question I had was, you talk about the cost, right? Brick and mortars have higher costs than a vending or a truck, food truck.
Mm-hmm.
So, what fees would you charge? Do you believe there should be different fees for brick and mortar and a food truck?
I think there should be an amount that both sides agree to. I don't think it should be one is higher and the other is lower. I think there should be an equal amount or something that both sides agree to.
And then you also talked about kind of limiting the number or limiting the places that food trucks could be at. Do you have a number in mind and a place in town in mind?
I think maybe there could be about maybe 5 or 6 zones where vendors can operate. I definitely think down there by down the road towards Salida, where a Thai food truck operates. I definitely think that could be an area. I also think definitely maybe near the railroad parking lot in some area there. Just trying to find a place that isn't already taken up or people have planned to put things there for. So just finding good spots in town.
Andrew.
Oh, go ahead.
You mentioned in your essay that competition between temporary vendors and brick and mortar is on an uneven scale. Why do you think it's important for competition to be fair?
I think, that it's like our founding principles. There needs to be equality in communities and in our government. I definitely think that reflects on like fair like competition. I definitely think it should be fair so that businesses have their opportunities and their views in the community and in the government.
Anyone else?
Yes, I was going to ask you, you said you spoke to industry experts.
Mm-hmm.
Who were they?
Oh, I spoke to town planner Miss Marika Kopp and current La Serena owner and Buena Viking owner Miss Anna Linger.
Very good. Liam Puckett. Thank you, Liam. Very good job. Next, I want to start with a sincere apology. It's Kyla Depew, correct? I'm sorry for the Kayla stuff. Kyla Depew.
Hi, my name is Kyla Depew, and I've been studying on road safety. The problem is that around town, people speed through stop signs and red lights, and eventually it ends up into dangerous crashes or people getting hit while crossing the road. The solution to that would be to put more speed bumps and to put more lights and signs with the speed limit that you're going. And the people who can help are Town Board and Colorado Department of Transportation.
Okay. Judges?
I have a question. You mentioned you've been involved with this a project like this in the past, and your essay indicates that the speed bumps that used to be there made a difference for a few months.
Yes, I think they did because I have gone down to the soccer fields a bunch, and the speed bumps make you slow down, but they ended up not working because they weren't the ones cemented in the ground.
And so, how do you judge success? How do you determine whether the ideas that you implement would actually achieve some measurable result?
By observing how fast the people come around the corners.
Judges, any other questions? For Kyla.
Could you come and think with me? Could you talk a little bit about how you researched this topic beyond the original project that you mentioned?
Yes. So most of it was the background knowledge from 5th grade in doing that project. But I've also just been around town and and just observed, kinda.
Do you have an idea of where you could get more specific data to back up information about speed bumps helping?
Yeah, there are websites and stuff that you can go online and use.
Was there anything here that showed a lower accident rate when we had the speed bumps installed?
I'm not sure of that, but I'm pretty sure, yeah, it's just speed bumps usually help.
One other quick question.
Andrew.
You tied it to a founding principle. Could you speak a little more to that?
Yeah, so my founding principle, I think, wasn't a responsibility on my paper.
I think you have responsibility and rule of law.
Oh, yeah. It's just responsibility is like having yourself know what you're doing and going the right speed limit on the roads and being able to do everything you can to not run through traffic lights and hit people.
Very good. Thank you, judges. And Kyla Depew, thank you so much. That rounds out our top 5 finalists with, oh, I'm sorry. Elsie, you didn't want to come up, did you? Elsa, come on. Elsie Rasmussen, I'm sorry.
Hi, I'm Elsie Rasmussen, and the problem I talked about in our community is a lot of the students and my peers are not excited about learning. And enjoyment in learning can reduce stress, increase memory, and increase focus. And one solution we can use is creating more engaging, hands-on lessons.
All right, judges.
So one question that I had is teachers are kind of the expert on curriculum, and they make the class syllabus and everything. So how will you work with teachers and school professionals to develop these fun learning methods?
Probably using like some of my friends which agree with like this problem, and like just talking to them, and maybe like still having like activities that you learn a lot from, but they can be like more hands-on and not just like reading out of a book.
And then again, I'm a journalist, so research is important to me. How did you go about researching your topic? I like a lot of the sources that you used in there. Could you just talk a little bit about your research process?
We talked a lot with I talked a lot with my teacher, Mr. Reed, and our librarian, Miss Hogan, and they also helped me find like good websites to like read off of, and yeah.
Thank you.
Another question. You mentioned the pursuit of happiness in your final paragraph, and I'm wondering if you could just tell us a little bit about what do you think of when you think of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness?
I think if you like can finish your school like years off and be like focused and like have all your learning done, then you can like find a better job and like get high paying jobs and like live like without having to struggle.
There you go. Judges, any other questions? Andrew?
You mentioned a little bit in your essay about students are not excited about learning. Why is it important to be excited about learning?
Because there's a lot of like research that shows that like excitement in learning can lead to people wanting to go to college and like wanting to pursue their education and like enjoying like why like you're in this like in school and not just being stressed about it all the time.
Very good. Thank you so much. Elsie Rasmussen, our fifth finalist for this afternoon. What's going to happen now, our judges are going to start their tabulations. They will give scores to each of the five that we just heard from. Those scores will be added to round one, round two, and our tiebreaker scores. Again, in the event of a tie, the judges will rank our top five, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and majority rules. We'll have a winner when they're done with their tabulation. So we'll excuse the judges to the green room. There is a third-generation Colorado native. She has lived at Buena Vista for 54 years. She taught U.S. history and American government at Buena Vista High School, earning the honor of Colorado Teacher of the Year in 1989. Before teaching at BVHS, she taught 5th grade at Avery Elementary School for 4 years. In 1976, she helped her 5th grade class complete a bicentennial time capsule that will be opened on the 4th of July at the Buena Vista Heritage Museum. How cool. She also helped start the local League of Women Voters and serves on its leadership team and Civics Bee committee. My honor to bring to the podium Margie Gray.
Thank you. You guys have done a good job looking about to the future, how you want to change things. And as a former history teacher, I brought out my favorite hat. I thought it would be fitting for today because 250 years ago this year, you know what happened. What was it? You don't know. He's been so good. Anybody know what happened 250 years ago on July 4th? The Declaration of Independence. Remember that? Have you heard of that? You've heard of that. It wasn't on the Civics Bee question, and it should have been, right? And Colorado will be 150 years old. So Colorado is just 100 years younger than our Constitution. So in 1976, which was, do your math, 50 years ago, I was just a kid, okay? I was teaching 5th grade at Avery Elementary School. Mr. Parsons was the principal. How many of you went to Avery Parsons? Okay, so Mr. Parsons was my principal. My fifth graders that year decided we should do a time capsule. And there's a picture of it here on the board, on the screen. And my fifth graders, okay? They are now 62 years old. So some of them could be your grandparents, right? So we're going to open this time capsule on July 4th at the museum. Susie Kelly is here, Miss Museum, right? She got it started, the museum started in 1974. So the museum was 2 years old when we did our time capsule. So what I want to ask you and the audience today, if we're going to do a time capsule for the next 50 years, what would you put in it? What would you put in it? Cheetos. And they last forever, right? They do last forever. So 50 years probably would not be a problem. Okay. How many would go along with the Cheetos? Well, you got a few people there. Okay. Other ideas. I mean, sometimes you put in clothing, what's very popular. What's popular now? My fifth graders back then, CB radios. Do you know anything about a CB radio? You guys don't know that. That was a big thing back 50 years ago. We didn't have computers, but they wanted to put a CB T-shirt. T-shirts were popular back then. Okay, so we had. Okay, what's another thing up here? What was your answer?
What did you say we should put in the box?
Oh, I would put McDonald's pickle.
A McDonald's pickle. Okay. Maybe hermetically sealed somehow, right? Okay. All right. A pickle. If they're into food, I can tell they're very hungry. Okay. What about a sports memorabilia? Something you want to put in about sports?
A football.
What about just a football? One football? What about soccer? How many of you play soccer? You know, 50 years ago, we didn't have soccer in Buena Vista. Okay? We didn't, so soccer, a ball. A yearbook. Okay, now there's a good idea. A yearbook from the class that's just graduating this year, and I think they did that. Another thing they might have put in was a phone book. Do you guys know what phone books are? A phone book. What about a phone on the wall? Have you seen those in movies, maybe? Okay. We always knew where they were, right? We weren't saying, where's my phone? We knew exactly. It was by the kitchen counter, hooked up with a cord. And if you were really lucky, you had a long cord, so you could maybe go around the corner and talk to somebody that you didn't want anybody else hearing you. Okay. What about news? What kind of news would you put in there? Would you put in newspaper? What would you say? A phone? A newspaper? How many of you read the newspaper, like a paper newspaper? Good. Now that might last longer than a computer. Like 50 years, what is a computer going to look like? These things will be considered archaic. They'll say, really? You had an iPad? How did they work? So you don't want to give up your iPads to put in it anyway, right? No. All right. You would? No. All right, what else would you put in? How about your parents? Would you put anything? Oh, we have some. What would you put in? A circle water bottle. Use the scent thing. Okay, I don't know the circle water bottle or the scent thing. How many do you guys do? All right. Flavored water. Okay. All right. Water bottles. All right. So we could do that. That probably would last. So we put ours in a wooden box, and the museum stored it in their basement or on their floor for 50 years. And so it wasn't buried. So sometimes people bury time capsules. But this one was just left in the museum and taken care of by the good museum staff. And it was nailed shut. And so this year the students, who are just, they were like you were in fifth grade, you were 6th, 7th, and 8th grade just a few years ago. So they're going to come back, many of them, bring their family, their friends to open it up to see what's inside. And I know there's no Cheetos in it. I'm sure that, I don't even know if they had Cheetos 50 years ago. They had potato chips, but I don't know when the Cheeto came out. Kids back then did not have backpacks. They didn't bring backpacks to school. They carried their books in their arms. or with a strap around it. That'd be uncomfortable, huh? I mean, some of you parents, did you all have backpacks? Parents, you're that young, you had backpacks? Yes, okay. We didn't when I went to school. All right. All right, so anything else you put in it? Anything else you'd like to put in this time capsule? A newspaper?
How about a hoodie? You guys all wear hoodies.
Hoodies. Hoodies were not big 50 years ago. I think they came out more after the movie Rocky. You know that movie? They kind of came out after that. Hoodies were not big. So this will be interesting, some of the things that they will find to open up at this particular time. Anybody have anything else you'd like to put in this time capsule?
Put a picture of the kids.
A picture of the kids. Yeah, look at my kids up there. You know? We had a professional photographer come in, and there's posters on the wall of things that they did. You know, for the Crayolas. See, back 50 years ago, they're still using crayons, right? So we had that. Some of them are smiling, some of them are hiding, just kind of like kids, all right? So I've heard from 3 of those kids that are coming back on July 4th and with their parents and their grandkids to open up the time capsule. Okay, anything else that we'd want to put in it? A picture of the school, yes. The school that we were in has been destroyed, and there's a new elementary school, the one that you guys went to. But before that was a different school, so that was destroyed. I mean, they took it down to put a new one. They didn't, you know, they had to remove it, I guess, to put a new one. So maybe even then, you know, your middle school in 50 years, it's fairly new now. Maybe in 50 years they'll be leveling it to put in a new school. Okay. What else? Huh? What did you have? A penny? Yeah, they're no longer making them, are they? Pennies are no longer to be made, you know, so we can put in a penny. And that might be worth, it might be worth many bitcoins by then or something, right? What else? Oh, he's going to put up a Dr. Pepper. Okay, so Dr. Pepper. All right, so time capsules, a way that history likes to preserve itself and see what happened. Okay, Wendy? So we have some appreciation. Oh, do you have something, sir? Oh, please, give me something. All right, we'd like to thank some of the teachers that helped you guys with your projects here. And so the League of Women Voters is happy. I should put on my other hat. Yes. I'll put on my league hat now. Okay. We'd like to thank the teachers that helped at this particular time to help you and gave you some guidance and help participate in this. So one of the person is Gavin Depew. And Annie Meadows. Oliver Reed is not here this afternoon, but let's give him a round of applause. And then we have two more people we'd like to give thank you appreciations to. One is Dan R. Dan has been with us for 4 years helping us. Thank you very much. Thank you. And last but not least, one of my former colleagues who comes and helps us quietly, doesn't want his name mentioned or anything, but I'd like to give a stipend to my former colleague. He and I taught together, so we're both this young. Thank you for your work.
All right, in third place, we have Kyla Depew. Come on up, Kyla. Come on up here, Kyla. We're going to present you with your backpack and your card with some cash money. There we go. In second place, Elsie Rasmussen. Very good. Got your envelope. And I'm running a little low this month. If you, just a little low. So. And here you go. Our first place finisher in the Civics Bee 4th Annual Edition, sponsored by the League of Women Voters, Chaffee County, and the Buena Vista Chamber of Commerce, Liam Puckett. Come on up, Liam, and just be proud. I'm sure there's a camera or two up there. Get on up there, Liam. Congratulations. How many move on to state?
3.
All 3 move on to state. Fantastic. Kyla, Elsie, Liam, all move on to the state competition. And from there, who knows, nationals in Washington, D.C. Folks, on behalf of the League of Women Voters, Chaffee County, the Buena Vista Chamber of Commerce, thank you so much to the folks here letting us use the American Legion Hall today. Thank you all so much for coming out. See you next year.